What's up, guys?
Anthony Basher, Anthony Nelson Basher,
Yes.
Jamie Brandon Barfield, Caleb Brandon Barfield,
What's up?
and Gabriel
Brandon Bar.
Find it out.
Joseph Cagle. Say hey to the people.
What's
Got
up?
half the Christmas story in his name.
What's up? You do have half the Christmas story. Just have Mary and Jesus. You'd have it all. Anthony Basher
Yep.
and I have been in this a long time together. Got a lot of cool stories, a lot of cool things we've been through.
Yep.
You're like, oh, Lord, where's this going?
Yeah, I didn't think those. A lot of them are probably not appropriate for. Not appropriate. Very appropriate, but not flattering.
Yeah. Unrighteous in that we weren't doing things right, but not immoral.
Yeah, because of ignorance and not knowing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Stupidity.
I guess, I don't know. Maybe that's not unrighteous. I don't know. Maybe by the definition of the word unrighteous, maybe yes, it fits, but
not the traditional definition.
yeah, but not immoral and
We weren't being ungodly.
not ungodly. Yeah. Great way to phrase it. In 16 years of ministry, I don't know, the number changes. It's hard for us to
I say 18, 19.
it's hard for us to narrow it down. 16, 17 years of ministry. We have a lot of cool stories, and one that is probably spoken of a lot is the Tony Basher Holy and Anointed one.
Yeah.
You still play guitar?
So Eli, my son, he's 10, and my daughter, she's 17. They are practicing and learning, so I do pick it up occasionally.
Your daughter, Anna Clark?
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's been playing a year or so now, and so yeah, I pick it up with them. They think I'm great because when you learn guitar, you learn a few chords really well in the beginning, and then if you fizzle out like I did, then you still know those. And so yeah, I still pick it up and show off with the ones that I'm good at.
We were just talking about the Soxy campus, and we were talking about who's leading worship there and a few different things there. And in my head, it made me think of early years.
With campus ministry, and when they go to plant from how God's blessed us here now, and they go and it's maybe not quite as polished depending on who's over there and things like that, they have no idea.
No idea.
I mean, we had a drum machine.
Didn't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, a drum machine that just kept on going, couldn't turn it off. You almost had to preach to a drum machine because, wasn't it Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sam Cagle, Gabe's dad, said, yeah, we don't have any drummers today, so we're going to play this drum machine. But, we had that. We had, a few different people on a few different instruments, none of them really good. And I remember one Sunday you were out of town, and I had to lead worship, and, we were doing hymns, and we did Heaven's Jubilee and I'll Fly Away, and they both start with the same line. Some glad morning, and I was singing the
Some glad morning we shall see Jesus in the air.
Yep. And then
some glad morning when this life is
over. If
over.
you're singing one and they're playing another,
fly away.
You know for a fact you're singing the right words and cannot figure out
why it's not going right.
Yeah, we stopped it and restarted it 3 times. So
very interesting.
Things like that. People don't know how good they have it.
I got a guy wanting to buy an LED wall.
Okay. I got a guy.
You got a guy.
Yeah. The company that we've been using, Tech LED out of Miami, and I guess it's their subsidiary or offshoot, but Bezo, LED, Sebastian, man, they have really gave us great deals.
Can you believe we went from a drum machine to having an LED? What is the size of our LED wall out there now? the back wall?
40, yeah, about 40 by 27, and then the columns on top of that.
40 foot wide, 27 foot high.
Yeah.
And then 6
Huge.
foot columns by 27 foot high
Yeah.
columns.
Yeah. It's
Can you believe we've gone from drum machine to giant LED wall and the driving force behind everything in between?
I think the reason that we are at a place now of having, I mean, listen, it's all about Jesus, it's all about the message, it's all
Sure.
about the vision, but the things like that accentuate and make the message easier to get out, on whatever your technology thing is, I think that we got there because we were faithful with the drum machine.
Yep.
It wasn't, oh, we've arrived ever, because Lord knows we are so far from that and never will. But we were faithful in the moments with the drum machine, and me who can't play guitar.
Yep.
Being faithful in those moments, I know matter a lot. Being faithful in the small things, and I mean, well, listen, we talk about LED wall that this church didn't pay for.
Yeah.
That was donated.
Yep.
So
it's really amazing that. I mean, again, early years we went from graffiti back wall where we got like
we got
not
large
plastic.
pieces
What's
of
it called?
corrugated
plastic.
large
Yeah.
pieces of corrugated plastic.
Put them all together.
Yeah.
Chris Stacy was the driving force behind the graffiti.
Yep.
Marcus Schluty helped us out with that a little bit. Anyway, there were a few people that helped with the graffiti back wall. We would hang it up as almost like a backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Looked really cool.
Folded like an old school map.
Right, we would fold it like a map and then take it down every week and unfold it, put it back up. And through the process, I was going to say this earlier, through the process, the driving force behind every upgrade through the years has been a drive from me of I want more, let's be excellent, let's keep pushing, and a drive from you to let's innovate.
Yeah, my thought process on innovation, technology changes throughout has been what can help accentuate the message without being a distraction.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord knows we've had suggestions from people through the years of innovations that we should do, but there's so many of them that can translate into taking the focus off of the message, being a distraction. And because if you're coming to see what new cool tech gadget is being displayed in church, well, you're missing it. And if it takes away from the message, we don't need it.
So let's talk innovation just for a minute, because I think this is a benefit, a benefit to the people watching, whether they're our church people or they're, they're connected to another church and they're watching us and they see how we innovate and they say, oh man, I wish my church was more innovative, or I wish I could be more innovative. Innovation is something that probably what we have found is mostly uncommon to find somebody that is just constantly looking for. I guess innovation and upgrade, are those interchangeable words, or what?
Can be in certain contexts.
Yeah.
I think in this context, very similar.
Okay, so people who aren't constantly looking for upgrades or to innovate in their areas, and what we always desired was innovation so that we don't get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were always afraid of one day getting stuck somewhere and not being able to get through certain barriers, be it growth barriers or, tradition. Hey, this is the way we do things, so we're stuck here, and we just never wanted to see that happen, and so we just kept innovating.
Yeah, I think through the years, just churches that we've been affiliated with and that we, know people there, we've seen churches who, they get stuck in this rut, and then all of a sudden, the church down the street is now here and here and here, and they're growing because of XYZ thing that they've got, innovation happening. Like, the Word of God is unchanging, but the method is constantly changing. I always use this as my rule of thumb. Paul used the greatest technology at his fingertips to spread the word of God.
That's right.
When you go back to Moses, they had slate and stone. Paul had a quill and ink. Paul used the greatest technology at his time to take those scrolls and send them out. And so for us, we also should use the greatest technology at our time. Why would you handicap yourself if there is an option for innovation to spread the word of God? So for me, we've always said we try to punch above our weight. We know that the outside world, the secular society, is just, man, they're just blowing up with technology, and it's entertaining, and it's being used for things that are either ungodly or just
wasteful.
Yep. And so if we can take those same things and make them useful, make them applicable to the Word of God, and get it into people's heart and soul. And listen, if somebody comes in the first Sunday to say, "Oh wow, I want to see that big old giant wall," awesome. As long as I know they're hearing the Word of God, and they're getting it in them. So,
for sure. Let's talk about punching above our weight.
Yeah.
Something we've talked about through the years. A desire to, when we were running 30, okay, let's act like we're running 100. Not in a showy way, in a operational way.
Yes.
Let's operate in a manner in which we would operate when we're running 100. And even now, we run 1,1500. Let's operate in a way in which we ran 2,000 or 3,000. We're already changing even some of the mindsets even as we grow. And we've had to change mindsets a lot.
Yeah.
There's been tons of times where even recently, like where, okay, Tony's always been the production guy, but now Clint's the production guy.
Yeah.
Because we had to act a little different now.
Yeah.
Tony's always been the video guy. Now Caleb's the video guy, or whatever it may be. And so we've had to where Tony's giving these guys oversight and helping them and critiquing them and giving them accountability, things of that nature. But your role has changed from hands-on making every video to, hey, Caleb, why don't you try this?
Yeah, I think in any job you have, secular ministry, whatever, if you're in oversight and you don't hire people that are better than you, you're failing, because what's the point? And so, Caleb, young guy, he's probably there now. I hope he is better at video editing than I am. And if he's not there, he's really close, and he's going to surpass me because the things he's learning. And so for me, like, it's kind of like the teacher. You want your student to surpass you. And if not, you need to look at pride. You need to look at some things in yourself, because, Clint, man, listen, Clint's amazing down there. He's had experience throughout his life with production stuff. And when I can give him wisdom
But both of these guys still come to you and say, I saw it today. Clint comes to you and says, hey, XYZ. And you go, no, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that your finger isn't on these things, but as we grew, we had to take fingers off, and we had to put hands on. The fingers doing every little move versus my hand is on your back, I'm helping you.
It makes me more effective as a leader and in this ministry, whereas instead of focusing all my time on either video editing or when it was just me, either video editing, production stuff, something was getting shortchanged.
Mm-hmm.
So now, from an overseer role of hey, I'm here to support you. You have questions, either I'll have the answer, or I'll get the answer, or I'll show you how to get the answer. It makes me more effective. It makes them more effective, because now, Caleb, when he first came on, he knew very little about video production, and now through his own seeking out answers, through me hopefully helping him a little bit, and now he has grown. So not only am I growing and able to help, now he's able to grow.
And now he's training Gabe.
Yeah, now he's training Gabe.
Now he's got Gabe in here teaching him.
Gabe made a reel, for Facebook, and it looked great, and it was, so yeah, it's if we,
because one day Caleb is not going to have his fingers in video editing.
if
somebody
we,
else
as
has to do that.
The old guard, and it, you know, we're only 45 and 43. You know, we're not old, but we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the track. If we sit here and hold all the information and all the power and all the influence close to us, and don't let people have an avenue to fulfill their ministry calling, then what happens in 20 years when we retire? You know, and there's nobody behind us to then pass that down to. And if you wait till you're 60 to pass that down, listen, when I'm 60, I'm probably not going to know all the technology of the day. I don't now, but you know, we've got to prepare the next generation, the next two generations to flourish.
You did a little sabbatical this year.
Yeah.
First time ever.
Yeah.
For either one of us.
Yes.
I have one coming up.
Yes.
Not real not real long sabbaticals. They're only a month, 3 weeks a month. We're trying to start a process of saying, okay, hey, we know there are things out there that we can learn. So as we continue this concept of innovation, I've never seen campus ministry. I've never seen, there's a lot of things that we do that I've never seen done. And so I need to go learn from other people. Same concept from you. You went on a sabbatical, come back, found week 1 was already texting me, hey, I'm ready to get back and start implementing ABC 1, 2, 3. And so anyways, there's some things that we're learning or trying to learn so we can continue to innovate. But inside of your sabbatical, we had this conversation this morning just about some counseling that you got during your sabbatical. Mm-hmm. And after the counseling, the guy asked you, what is something that, what was the question?
There's a few. The one we spoke about today was, what is one of the biggest challenges that pastors face mentally? Mentally,
okay. And if you were to ask me that, my answer has been for years, and my answer probably still is, every decision that I make, there's 2,000, 3,000 other people that question why I'm making said decision and have their version or their opinion of said decision that I should have made.
Yes.
And it is incredibly mentally exhausting.
Yes.
To know, if you're not careful, to start pondering, it'll paralyze you with fear.
Yeah.
Because should I, yesterday you and Caleb sent me a reel, and I said, I'm not gonna post that one from my sermon on Sunday because of what other people would think about said reel. And so if I'm not careful, I find myself paralyzed with inability. I see how people could get paralyzed with making decisions because of the second guessing and the armchair quarterbacks that are out there that will pick apart every decision that you make and why you should have made another decision or a different decision or should have tweaked the decision that you're making. There's people that if Ainer flops, they could have told you the entire time through the process why or how Ainer could have thrived. Yeah. There's people that could have told us how to. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't help with Conway, but they could have told us 100 times how to fix Conway, help Conway, make Conway better. And that is probably mentally, if you were to ask me that question, that would be mentally the thing that I say the load is there, trying to figure out how to, knowing every decision you make, knowing that people are armchair quarterbacks to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your answer was?
My answer, I gave him 3 answers, but the one we talked about was expectations. I mean, when he asked the question, he put, like example, loneliness, because I think every pastor out there knows those things, experiences the loneliness of, because it's a lonely position. But for me, expectations, because as a minister, if you've got 2,000 people, or you have 200 people, or you have 20 people in your congregation, that's the number of differing expectations that you have. Expectations from what kind of car you should drive, what you should wear on stage as you preach, what gifts you should give your wife for her birthday.
True.
I mean,
we saw that.
we saw that. We literally, one year, you bought your wife a Fossil watch,
The white Fossil watch.
$50 probably.
Right before social media was a big thing. It was still a thing. Took a picture of it, posted it on social media.
Yeah.
People got mad and left the church.
Yeah. Somebody literally came in and said, "I can't believe you bought your wife that watch." You know,
Yep.
and listen, it's kind of like this.
And at that time, I wasn't even getting a paycheck from the church. I was working 2 jobs to keep the church alive.
They were mad at how you were spending your pet milk money.
Yeah, crazy.
But if a pastor rolls up in an expensive car, people say, "Oh my goodness, he's stealing from the church." If he drives up in a old beater, they say he's not spending his money wisely. Why am I following him? He's not respected. If you rolled up, I mean, listen, we see it. I saw it just the other day. Somebody literally beside Stephen Furtick posted his sweater and how much it cost. Why would I care what Stephen Furtick's sweater cost?
Yep.
It's crazy, and it's all about perspective, because if the man who drives a 1987 car sees you driving a 1989 car, oh man, that pastor, look at him rolling big like that, whereas the guy who's driving the 2024 is looking at you when you're driving a 2019. It's all perspective. It's wherever we are walking from and looking from. We judge our pastors, and it's crazy. What I said this morning during our conversation was only profession that happens in.
Only profession.
Only one. If you look at a doctor and he's driving up in a Mercedes, you think, oh man, he must be doing good. He must be a good doctor. You look at a construction worker driving a brand new F-350 that he paid $100,000 for. You're like, man, all right, that dude's doing good. A lot of people must be hiring him to build some houses.
Yep.
I might need to look at him. You look at a pastor, though, and if he's driving a nice car, then you look at, and I don't know if it's because, the church is funded by donations, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what the mentality of that is and how that perspective trickles down so unfairly. I mean, we live in or not live in, but we're part of a denomination that our denomination sets your salary. It's not like you just arbitrarily said, you know what, church, pay me this much money right here. So, it's crazy how people think things work in a ministry.
Yep.
And it's so far from the truth, the way most people think it works. And it's unfair. But, you've got expectations from how many quotable quotes you should have from your sermon, how many scriptures you should have in your sermon. We've had people come up and say, my goodness, boy, he wore us out with scriptures today. And then you got, it could be the same exact sermon, and somebody say, man, I don't know why he ain't preaching out the Bible. He needs more scripture in that sermon.
Yep.
So the expectations put on a pastor, very similar to what you were saying as far as, that reel that you were, oh man, what are people going to think? Because you have to second guess yourself with every single comment you make, every post you make on social media, everything you say from the pulpit. That you have, the receptors of 2,000 people, or ever how much you're in your ministry running. It's unfair, and it's very difficult. And to me, that's one of the most mentally taxing things for a minister. Certainly for a pastor who's up on stage, having all the eyes on him every week. But even it trickles down,
Agree.
Pastor Simeon, he's our worship pastor, and Lord knows people are looking at him and thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm Joe Blow out there watching this podcast right now, and I hear that and I go, man, I don't want to feel that way about the pastor. But at the same time, I think pastors need accountability.
100%.
So the line of I honor you, but I'm also going to give accountability to the role in which you should be playing. There are pastors absolutely that misrepresent or misallocate funds. There are absolutely terrible things that happen inside of ministries all over the this world, but specifically this country, this community, this state, whatever, however close to you want to get. But for me, somebody watching this, one of our people watching this, and they hear you say, there's unfair expectations on my pastor, and I have a piece of wisdom to give them. Let's give them some wisdom. Somebody watching this right now that says, okay, I don't want to do that. What can I do?
I would say,
You ever had this Arnold Palmer half and half? It is. You know, Arnold Palmer is obviously half and half, but this is light, so it's like sugar free. It's not really sugar free. It's sugar light. It's light sugar, light on sugar.
Light on sugar.
It only has 19 grams.
That's how I like my tea. My wife always says it's so watered down.
Yeah,
I like my tea light.
Arnold Palmer, he knew what he was doing.
Smart man. In several things.
Smart dude. Good golfer, but great at making a drink, mixing a drink. A little bit of lemonade, a little bit of sweet tea, half and half. Arnie, you smart man, Arnie.
Good job.
Cheers.
Good job. But I would say that number one, self-reflection. I mean, if
do you remember when we were young and pink wasn't a cool color for dudes to wear?
Yeah, you know what I found out though? I found out historically, pink is a very masculine color. Like back, hundreds of
because
years ago,
they didn't have really red
they
reds.
had really red, and so red blood warriors.
Yeah, pink's manly.
Pink's manly.
I like that.
Yeah. So
there you go. So advice for somebody saying
number one, self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
To me, not only
Meaning?
pastors, but anybody that you want to pass judgment on or become suspicious on. I think the number one thing you should ever do, even before looking at them, is looking inwardly. Like, where is this coming from? Where am I judging them because I'm looking at myself and maybe some deficiencies that I have? People have judged you from you and Maddie having a great relationship, and not judge like, oh, their relationship's bad, but just like a jealousy of my relationship. My relationship to my wife isn't like that. And so, to me, number one, whenever you get angry at anything, self-reflection. Where is this coming from? Is this coming from a place of bias in my own heart? Because I think so much of the unfair expectations to pastors come from a bias in our own heart. And number two, then I would just consider, what facts do I know? Why am I making the assumptions that I'm making?
Yeah.
And I think that those two things would cover a lot of the ground. Not everything, but cover a lot of the ground. Because if we truly look at things honestly and try to make an honest judgment, what information do I have? I mean, you literally had somebody recently make a comment about the truck you drive, which is,
You're like, boy, preacher, that nice truck got you all that church. His actually comment was, church is growing. You must be doing well financially.
You driving a 5-year-old truck?
A 2019, 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
That's paid off.
Yeah. You keep it washed. It looks nice.
Looks nice.
And so once you're taking care of your truck, and so good job. It looks like a 2024 apparently. But, it's just so crazy how, seriously think about this. What information do I have to make this judgment? And if you don't have information, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's so far out of the context of things we need to be doing. Now, with that said, I love the way our church is structured, so that there are churches out there who the pastor, there's zero accountability.
Yeah.
And we both agree that's dangerous.
Dangerous.
So I love the fact that you get to, as the visionary of this house, get to, come in and be the vision driver of this ministry, through prayer and through God leading you, but also have accountability. Yep. There's accountability. You can't get up there and just say, you know what, name your thing that you're thought of in your mind, and you can't do that because there is accountability.
You've been in every board meeting with me.
Yes.
To a certain extent, maybe you're out of town, vacation, whatever, something of that nature. In my entire ministry, I can only think of one time where I said the board was kind of pushing back against me, and I said, I believe in this so much I will take money out of my own pocket and do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know God has spoken to me. I know we have to do this.
Yeah.
I will take it out of my own pocket and do this.
I remember that one. I have the luxury of sitting here, being in board meetings with you, and all the conversations we've had throughout the years. But I wish, there's so many people that have been in those boardrooms with us that once their tenure of being a board member has expired, they walk out of those rooms and say, "My goodness, man, they are such good stewards of God's money.
Yeah.
Because
It's funny. I think of there's particular people, but like, Tony has done one of the pieces of advice my dad gave me early on was, as quick as you can, get the finances out of your hands, because he knew a pastor having to deal with the finances is not a good thing. So you have off and on, basically,
even with pastors that are the most reputable thing in the world, not a good look.
Not a good look, right? And so, early, it was advice that my dad gave me early on. So early on, probably from the very beginning, it was probably me and you counting the money. My dad got their ministry got it all. That's how we didn't have to pay rent, but just whatever came in went to him. But as we grew, I quickly got out of it, but you have been there basically off and on through the entire, 17-year journey here. And I think of recently, probably the last few church-wide business meetings, how things have been said prior to meetings, and then you walk into the meetings and you can tell people have maybe like we walked into one and we were told that we were broke and going under. It was one of our first ones here at the new facility. We were broke and going under, and the meeting was to tell everybody that this was it. And then we walk in and they were shocked that, no, we're moving forward. We're trending up and God is good. I remember maybe last time where I guess a rumor got started that we had taken on a bunch of new debt. And so we got to the end of the meeting and one person was very adamant about, are you sure we haven't taken on any new debt? And we're like, no, what are you talking about? We were confused because we didn't hear the rumors.
Yeah.
We didn't hear the and it's always just a few people that just create some frustrations. And so I agree. Like, what truth do you know? And then one of the things that, I'm very big on, like, if you have questions, come ask us.
Yes.
And I'm not even talking about just financially in the church.
Everything.
In life. If you feel like I've, spoke to my son inappropriately in a moment out of anger or frustration, come talk to me. I promise you, I know that's a thing. And I apologize to him on the regular, because there is in our household 2 men living. Yeah. And 2 men that butt heads every now and then. And on the regular, I have to go, hey, bud, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
I think that's just indicative of the time we live, where everybody wants to, keyboard warriors. I showed my wife a meme last night. Maybe some of you guys have seen it. It's of 2 dogs on each side of a gate, and they're sitting there, teeth just frail. They're just sitting there going at it. And all of a sudden, it's an automatic gate, and the gate comes back, and all of a sudden tail's wagging, everything's fine. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, cool. Then the gate shuts again. And as soon as it shuts, they start again. And that's just social media.
Yeah.
That is the world we live in, where from afar, as long as I know that you can't touch me, I'm going to throw all the stones and all the just mud against you I can. But then they just won't come up and have a conversation of, hey, listen, I don't like that this happened. Or I have questions. This didn't look right. Why did this happen?
Yeah.
And those questions, if they would just be had, and just if people be just bold enough to have those respectful but honest and candid conversations, so many questions will be answered instead of rumors and allegations. Thankfully, we haven't had a lot of rumors or allegations like some different people have had.
It's been very small foxes spoil the vine type stuff. Yeah. It's been very easily defended, I guess is the right word, but definitely very small foxes spoil the vine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate when you have people who, I don't know, just I think feel some value.
Yeah.
In, especially if they believe it. If they believe it, they think, oh, there's injustice there. I'm going to be the hero here, and I'm going to tell everybody. But then when they find out this wasn't true at all, then just an unfortunate series of events.
Yeah. The thought process of expectation on ministry leaders. I saw a post the other day, and it said, don't put your pastor on a pedestal, put him on your prayer list. And I thought, man, that's so true, because there's a difference between honoring your leader. You should honor your leader, but don't build them up to a place of of
God.
of God, or even anything close to that,
Yeah,
because he or she, whoever your ministry leader is still human, and in that humanity, all it takes is one. Chaplain Eddie last night, we're meeting with the J. Rubin community, getting ready to start a campus out there, and Chaplain Eddie said, every single one of you in here are one bad moment, bad decision away from being one of those people that are needing ministry. He said, so often we look at them and say, oh, they're bad people. He said, man, there's so many good people in there that have just made one bad decision, one wrong decision, and it's created a life in which now they're trying to figure out how to cope with the bad, or how to I guess cope is a terrible word, but how to walk out now the seeds of the bad decision they made. I talk a lot about pet peeves on here. What's your pet peeve? That's in here. Pet peeve in life. You got a lot of pet peeves. You are slowly turning into a grumpy old man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Your dad, he'll never watch this. Your dad was a grumpy old man.
Oh,
he's still alive. It's not like was like, but like I remember some conversations with him where there's definitely grumpy old man.
Yeah, for sure.
Stay off my lawn type stuff,
Yeah.
What's your pet peeve right now? What's something that's just irking you?
I just had a conversation with my wife a couple of days ago, and I remember a big pet peeve, and I was just like, I was just nailing it out. Not against her; she wasn't doing it because she's perfect and doesn't do any of those things.
Yeah.
But I really can't. I mean, I'm gonna give you something easy, a softball right here, because I can't think of anything that's truly a pet peeve. The sock basket. In our home, we have 6 people, and
you have a sock basket.
Basket.
I think this is new for all of us.
Okay, so in my house,
I'm sorry, I don't know what a sock basket is.
So, laundry gets done, and it's like everybody wants to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you feeling me?
So all of the lost socks that we don't know if they match, we just throw them in a basket.
All of them, period.
All of them.
It drives me crazy. Like, clothes get done, get hung up, everything, and it's just like socks are sitting there, and just like.
So the clothes basket is full of mismatched socks.
Yeah, and so there's a basket that is literally referred to. Where's sock basket?
Okay, understood
and
now.
In my head, number one, I can't wear mismatched socks. Just if they feel different, man, that's gonna
bug you.
It's gonna bug me all day.
Grumpy old man.
I think that bug everybody. I see kids walking around.
Kids walk around like that. I bet Gabe's socks don't match.
That does sound like it.
Gabe, you got matching socks on?
But they walk around. My kids got socks are different colors.
Gabe's socks match.
Good job, Gabe.
Keeping it business casual.
But anyway, I think, like, how much time of my life, how many hours of my life is being spent trying to pick out.
Grumpy old man, you are getting fired up over socks.
But it's like they're all right there. Can we not just take an hour and sometimes, thank God I have an hour and I do it. But it's just like they're sitting right there, and like you're trying to get dressed in the morning. You have somewhere to be, and there's just a box or a basket of all these different socks, and we got 6 people all wearing different size socks, and it's just like, to me, I want to buy one kind. I literally have one kind of sock. It's an ankle black athletic sock. I have nothing else. So all these guys with all these cool dress socks, man, good on you. But who has the time to sit there and do all that?
Caleb will tell you, I have one. Now it's 2 pairs of socks.
Yeah,
That's true.
They're all the same. I buy 2 packs of this pairs of socks, and whenever my socks start wearing out, I throw them all away. Start over with 2 packs of this same exact sock.
I am the exact same way, except mine are 3 kind, and they're all white Adidas socks.
Mm-hmm.
Some are ankle cut. Some are a little bit more of a higher up, low cut sock, and some are a no-show. I have 3 kinds, and for some reason, they always end up in Carson and Cammy's drawers.
I take that back. I said I have one. I have 2. I have a set of winter wool socks, but you're not mistaken.
Yeah.
But Yeah, that is a pet peeve of mine. I just want socks to be, folded up in a drawer and around my house.
Gabe, do you do your own laundry?
Depends.
Depends on what.
So, like, if I just put my clothes in the basket, sometimes my dad will accidentally put his clothes in that basket as well, and he'll just do all the laundry.
Gotcha.
But
You
most of
fold it
the
and put it away, like your laundry? Like mom and dad wash it, and then you fold it and put it away?
depends as well, because any time that laundry is done,
Grammy comes and puts it. Grammy do it for you?
No. So it's like my dad does everything, but he combines ours.
What's mama doing at the time?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
Listen,
make sure if you see Angie, make sure you tell her.
No, I think
Gabe said dad does all the laundry.
we're trying to get Evan. He's 12 to start doing his own laundry.
Look, I think my mom sometimes puts all of our stuff in.
This morning I woke up and I went into the laundry room, and he had done laundry. He had washed his clothes himself,
Nice.
and it was one shirt and one short.
My boy.
That's what I'm talking about. And he put it on that full wash.
That's so Caleb back whenever he was 12 and 13. So him.
Yeah.
All
Or
right.
my Chick-fil-A outfits back in the
Yeah,
day.
he would only wash them.
But I'd wash it on like the light mode, just the really quick rinse and spin.
But then because of how, like, you remember you worked at Chick-fil-A. You and I worked at Chick-fil-A together. And how whatever the oil that
it's not
seeps
coming
into your skin, it would
Peanut
seep
oil.
into your clothes. And, like, so he would wash it and pull it out, and it would still smell like.
I had an oil stain right
Oil,
above
yeah.
my
You can't
stomach.
wash this
You-
with anything
for
else
4
either.
You
because they
can't.
smell like it.
It's terrible.
I had an
So-
oil stain above my
times.
stomach for 4 years.
Yeah, you did. You did.
That's funny.
You did. Anyways,
That's
so
what
yeah,
I'm
that would
for.
pet peeve me too, Tony. Pet peeved.
Listen,
Just tell him, say I'm pet peeved.
I'm pet peeved. My wife is at home right now. She said, I'm handling all this laundry today.
Nice.
So,
So
thank you, Kimberly.
today on the podcast, we learned Arnold Palmer's a genius. We learned pink is a manly color.
That's right.
We learned if you're a dude, just buy all the same socks.
Amen.
And then we learned innovation,
It's a good thing.
keep pressing forward,
Punch above your weight.
punch above your weight,
Dress for the job you want.
dress for the job you want. And then we learned expectation on ministry leaders.
Stink.
They stink. They're tough. Tough to deal with. Man,
Praise God. That's
what a podcast.
It's a good one.
Phew. That's a lot.
Took notes.
All right. Click here. Next video. Click here to subscribe. Peace out. Thank you for joining us. Let's go.
See ya.